Look at this bridge. Oh my word.
The highest bridge observatory in the world. And that's Fort Knox State Park right there.
Human hair. It's a little creepy.
So this is the USS Oregon.
I'm excited seeing all this. I'm getting hungry. This is gonna get ugly real quick.
No.
Ahoy, matey!
I can't believe we're doing this.
Yeah!
Wow.
Look at this bridge we're gonna cross.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad there's a concrete barrier because I want to look.
We are crossing the Penobscot River, and that's the town of Bucksport.
This place is rich in maritime history. At one point, 17 boat builders, over 200 ships sailed out of here to China and India to get spices.
That's incredible because that was back when they made boats by hand.
Can you imagine?
This week we're exploring the historic town of Searsport, Maine. It was a really fun time going across that bridge, but she didn't get to look, so we went back again, and it was really cool the second time. The drive was easy. We headed up I-95 north. Once we got into Maine, past Portland, we headed east to US 1, right into Searsport.
Are you ready to go windjamming?
Yeah, but first, take this next right. I've got something special planned before we check into our campground. You think you're gonna be okay up there?
I mean, I hope they have stairs, right? I'm fine up there once I get up there. I just don't like being in the elevator. That bridge we drove over, that's gorgeous.
So here we go. I'm gonna take you up to the top of the Penobscot Narrows Observatory, the highest bridge observatory in the world.
What floor are we on? How long is this ride?
This is a 50-second ride. Longest 50
seconds
of your life.
Oh my gosh.
He said you couldn't get up in the
I
stairs.
know, he said we didn't have stairs.
So you're stuck in here with me. And it just says 1. Doesn't that feel weird how it's like not
My
clicking
ears
up?
are popping.
Oh, yeah, mine too.
Oh, this is
What
a view.
Kind of like, whoa.
What a view.
So that's where we're staying tonight, and our campsite is right out there. That's Penobscot Bay. This is the river that empties into it, and the ocean's all the way out there.
They took out 158,000 cubic yards of rock to make this bridge.
Well, you can see it cut there in that wall.
It's great. They had a bridge to Verona in 1931, but then they built the new bridge in 2006 and this observation tower in 2007. Just as incredible.
How you feeling up here?
I'm fine up here. I just didn't like the elevator ride.
Oh, what a great view of Bucksport, Maine right there. Gosh.
Beautiful little seaside town.
Yeah.
I can see the footings from the old bridge
Oh yeah, check that out.
before this one was built.
They've made it into the scenic overlook.
There's the Winnebago.
And that's Fort Knox State Park right there. I love it. This was a good stop on
This
the way
was a
in,
good
wasn't
stop.
it?
I'm ready to get to camp though.
All right, let's do it.
It was really cool to get a bird's eye view of the area that we were going to be exploring for the rest of the week.
Once we got here to the Harborside RV Resort, it was a short walk over to the Club Marina and Bar to watch the sunset. And Mother Nature put on another show for us for our first night in Searsport, Maine.
We made it to our first harbor town here in Searsport, Maine.
Well, this is Stockton Springs here. We're out on this island. We've just driven all the way up for the long drive, and you know what that means.
Yep.
I like to get some steps in, you know that.
Yep, I packed a little bit of our own happy hour here.
And what better place with a better view like this? I mean, look at this.
I mean, it is like you to bring us to a beach for sunset, but I'm not mad at that at all.
Our first sunset here in Maine.
It's beautiful.
Turns out to be an
I love learning the history of a community before we go out into it. Why did the people settle here? We knew it was a rich in maritime history kind of community, but what better place to start than the Penobscot Marine Museum? Okay, this is the original farmhouse built by a schooner captain. I guess the schooner captains did well back then. When we crossed over and walked into one of the sea captain's house, we met Sarah. She was our guide. She told us about the family that had lived there.
I think this house is cool because it's the oldest one in our museum. It was built sometime between the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812. It was bought in 1815 by Miles Fowler, and that was right after the end of the War of 1812, and that's right when this town started growing. There were lots of sea captains in this little town, and in 1843, the first Opium War finished between Britain and China, opening up trade with China. Lots of ceramics from China and Japan, fabrics, and animals.
Over in the corner there, was that her headdress that you have in the picture there?
That is a memorial wreath. Mary Black took hairs from all of her family members and wove these intricate flowers that you see in that wreath.
That's all hair?
My.
Yes.
Wow.
Human hair.
It's a little creepy.
A lot.
It is.
That's beautiful.
All over Penobscot Bay, hundreds of ships were built.
Would they have built these models before they built the ship?
They would build a half model, which was kind of like a 3D pattern that they would scale up to the large ship.
Sarah, thank you so much for the tour. It's
Of
been
course.
fascinating, absolutely fascinating. As we were taking our tour through the sea captain's house, I noticed some model ships on the table there, and it reminded me that down the street was Blue Jacket Model Builders, and I had to stop in and check it out.
You know, we just left the museum and learned the history of the ships. Now we're here to see some of the models.
I was a big model builder as a kid. I'm gonna love this place.
When we walked in, we met Nick and Tricia, the owners of Blue Jacket Ship Models. What an impressive place. There's a lot to look at.
Blue Jacket Ship Crafters manufactures wooden ship model kits for the hobbyist. We manufacture over 80 different model kits, ranging from a simple little skiff to the very complex USS Constitution model. We modeled ours in the 1812 to 1815 time period, and our kit has 2,600 metal fittings in it. It has 20 different sizes and colors of rigging thread. If you copper the bottom, it takes 3,000 individual copper plates, and it's not a model for the faint of heart.
Look at the details on it. This is 1812 ship. And look at the hull, all the little panels and just the rigging.
All the rigging.
When I was a kid, I did cars because I didn't have the patience for something like this.
I've been a modeler since I was 4 years old. I just never stopped.
So this is the USS Oregon, and it's the sister battleship to the USS Maine.
Nick said this is their newest kit that they're working on. So he's still working on all of the details. They have to make each part to go into the kit to build the whole thing.
Gosh, look at all the detail. Just like the decking.
Wood panel on the decking.
Crazy good. Oh my gosh, look at these stairwells.
I know. It's just amazing to see the details.
I'm merely a temporary steward of a great tradition.
I think it's wonderful too to get kids involved. You know, the crafts of it and using your hand and coordination and patience so that this tradition keeps on. What a treat that was.
I enjoyed that.
I got Christmas gifts taken care of.
We woke up on day 3, jumped in the toad and headed to Belfast, Maine.
Everyone in town has been asking us if we've been to Young's Lobster Pound yet. We had to put it on the list. Today was the day, and boy, were we in for a tasty treat. We met Raymond Young, 3rd generation owner.
Hey, how are you?
Very good.
Hey,
Thanks for having
nice
us.
to meet you folks.
I look forward to you showing us some bugs. Let's
Hey,
check them out.
we'll show you all kinds of stuff and teach you something new.
Let's
Oh,
go.
I couldn't
All
wait
right,
to come
come
here.
right in. My grandfather started the business back, going on 100 years and another couple of years here, I think. I used to be a lobster fisherman myself. Kind of rubs off when your grandfather's one, your father's one, then you take the reins and do it yourself too. When we have our boats come in, they'll come in, pull up to the dock over here where our winch is. We'll winch them up, weigh them, separate them, hard shell, soft shell. When they get done, they come in, we write them a check, and off they go, and then we bring them inside the building, put them in the tanks, and our water is turned down to 35 degrees. And then they're kept in that 35-degree water overnight. And the next day, they're pretty much on a plate and ready to eat. When I grew up here, I grew up waiting on customers. Seeing those people that come in every weekend with their picnic basket, setting a bottle of wine up and enjoying themselves and making it their day to go out to eat. We're still family business, still oriented, and we plan on keeping it going for hopefully another 100 years if it goes that long.
Our favorite part was going down underneath into the lobster tray and checking out all these lobsters in different kinds.
This is where people can come in and pick out whatever size lobster they want, from a pound to 4.5 pounds. This is a hard shell lobster here, and this is a soft shell.
And these ones you said are a little sweeter?
Soft shell lobster, a little sweeter, a little juicier, not quite as much meat in them. They're probably about 20%, 30% water in them this time of the year. And your hard shells are your full meated lobsters. Everything on this lobster you can eat besides the shell. So there's meat in the claws and these little legs and the flippers, there's meat.
Well, I'm excited seeing all this. I'm getting hungry.
Thank you so much for having us. I can't wait to eat.
We'll fix you right up with some lunch here.
It was very interesting, but I've got to admit, I was just waiting for lunch. So we just placed our order.
Okay,
Now what happens?
I'm gonna go wait up for you.
Okay, let's go see.
So cool how they've got that net like
my
that.
grandfather used to make those for us.
Really?
Yeah,
You just know by eye by now.
lots and lots of time.
Look at that, 2.5 on the money.
How long have you been working here?
Since I was 10.
What did they have you doing at 10?
I used to wash dishes and wash tables.
Okay, now what do we do?
I gotta get you a corn.
Oh, she
Oh, we
puts
got
the
the-
corn in with the lobsters.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
All right, so are we going to the kettle?
Yeah, and we're gonna boil this for 15 minutes.
Okay. And what do you have in there? Is it, what are they boiling in?
Just straight salt water, straight from the ocean.
Amanda showed us how they cook them in this big pot and steam's coming out and it's blowing out the building. They've changed color a little bit.
Yeah. They've changed color to yummy. All right, show me how you do this.
Okay, we're gonna start with the tail, down through, back up to the body. Some knuckles, claws. Easy peasy.
Nice.
After they cooked our lunch, we headed up to the second floor balcony overlooking the Bay of Belfast, and it was absolutely beautiful. Look at this view, babe. Can you get a better lunchtime view here in Maine?
No, and it's actually a wonderful Maine day. It's a little, foggy right now. Look at this clam chowder, dude. Talk about clams. There is so much goodness on my plate.
Fresh Maine lobster. Without butter, because I wanted to taste it. This is gonna get ugly real quick.
No,
I had never had lobster claw. I've always had lobster tail, so I got to sample the lobster claw. I think that was my favorite.
I loved it all. I couldn't decide where to eat next. They gave us steamed clams, lobster, chowder, crab dip, corn on the cob. I was confused and delighted. Here's to our first Maine lobster lunch at Young's Lobster Pound. Delicious.
Day 4 arrived. We woke up early, drove around the Penobscot Bay. I had something special planned in the small seaside town of Camden, Maine.
It's a beautiful day in the harbor.
Yeah, it is. What a sunrise.
Gorgeous boats.
I've been on many different sized boats in my day around the country, but I have never been on one like this.
And you know I'm good inshore, but going on a big ship out in the middle of the harbor, we'll see how I do.
A little nervous?
I am.
Today we're sailing on the Schooner Olad
It's gorgeous. It's like a piece of art.
with Captain Aaron.
They've been sailing these types of ships for centuries. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm well. Patrice.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you too.
I'm Kevin. Nice to meet you,
Nice to
Aaron.
meet you too. You guys want to go sailing?
I'm ready.
All right,
do it.
let's do this. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Captain. It's picturesque in this harbor filled with sailboats. I was in heaven. I must admit though, the nerves are starting to crank up a little bit.
And this harbor, honestly, Horn's important. If you could drive in and out of Camden in August, you could pretty much drive a boat anywhere. The skills that I have acquired by just surviving this harbor in the summer because of the traffic. People come from all around the world to go sailing here.
How long have you had the Olad?
I've owned the boat for 16 years and I've been on it for 23. The family who built this is the Crosby family built this boat. And the Crosbys are the second oldest boat building family in America. One of the older boats in the harbor is coming in right now. It's the Grace Bailey. I'm pretty sure she was built in the 1880s.
You're kind of a custodian of history.
Once we headed out in the harbor past the lighthouse, Captain Aaron said, "All right, it's time to hoist the sail."
All the way.
Slow down, Mahoney.
You slow down.
That's the mule over there.
Heave! Heave!
All right, that's perfect.
I'm gonna admit that was probably the most fun part is yelling heave and not heaving.
Ahoy, matey!
I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe I'm doing it. The first one, you could feel it catch wind. The second one, it caught a little bit more wind. And then when we did the two at the bow of the boat, I did not expect for the amount of wind that it would catch.
Aaron's got the wind going.
I told you it's a total sailor's day.
It's a little sporty.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
This is
Absolutely
incredible.
gorgeous.
Here's a good one.
Oh my God.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's like a big surfboard for you.
We're on the high side right now.
For me, who has trouble on big boats and deep water, this is unlike any other ride. Captain Aaron said in the whole season, you get about 10 days like this, and we got one.
I really enjoyed the day, our final day here in Searsport, Maine. What was your favorite part of this trip?
The food for sure. I mean, I have not had a bad meal here. You think of fresh seafood when you think of Maine, and it is no joke.
Maine lobster.
I enjoyed everything, learning the history at the museum, then Young's Lobster Pound. I mean, 4th generation family-owned business there. I will say it's today though, the schooner. Meeting Captain Aaron and going out on that schooner, you push me out of my comfort levels all the time, and I'm glad you do.
The schooner ride was almost like being on a surfboard for me. It was really fun to kind of not hold my hands on anything and really just feel the wind. What a great time. If you come up to the Penobscot Bay area, Searsport, check it out. It's worth the day.
Are you sure it wasn't the whoopie pies?